Chapter 4, Miracle on the Merit. When the phone rang, the last person I expected to hear on the other end was my mother's coworker. Your mother's been drinking, and I don't think it's safe for her to drive. My heart pounded. I'll be right there. I felt worried and protective, anxiously eager to pick up my mom and return her home from a dangerous situation. This was also a momentous responsibility to fall on the shoulders of a high school student. When I arrived, I immediately noticed the glassiness in her eyes. "Chris, I'm fine," she said, and pushed me away with some laughs. She told me to follow her car, and in that moment I betrayed my own instincts. I jumped into my car and pulled out behind her. My gut wrenched and my muscles tightened. I tapped the steering wheel with white knuckles, hunched forward. "It's only 1 mile. It's only 1 mile, I told myself. Once we made off the parkway, I decided I would drive in front of her, cut her off, and insist that she get in my car. As we headed up on the on-ramp, her car swerved back and forth. She weaved through the lanes of traffic, traveling over 70 miles per hour, and cars raced around her, barely able to avoid being hit. "No, no, no," I screamed. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I had no control over this terrifying sight. It felt like time slowed down. I was sure I was about to watch my mom crash her car and kill herself or someone else. Out of sheer desperation and panic, I yelled, "Jesus, help! Jesus, help! Jesus, help!" Then I witnessed a miracle. I could hardly believe what I was seeing, even as it played out right in front of me. We had just sped down the parkway for a mile already. We had swerved in and out of all the lanes as I tried to keep up with her. The car suddenly started coasting smoothly at 15 to 20 miles per hour. She cruised slowly off the exit ramp, pulled over, and parked. Her eyes were still glassy, and she still claimed she was fine to drive. I was in shock. I exited my car like a robot, hopped into my mom's car, and drove her home. Not only was my body and mind shaken from the experience of this near tragedy, but I couldn't wrap my mind around what seemed like the divine intervention I had just called in and witnessed. My father, brother, aunt and uncle, and coworker joined me in staging the intervention for my mom after that dreadful night. As I sat listening to all the stories about why they wanted my mom to recover, all I wanted to do was leave. I had already been avoiding home and my parents for some time. I'd even spent Thanksgiving with friends. I was about to bolt out of the room when I heard the voice say, "Let's help your mom." So I stayed. When it came my time to share my truth about my mother with everyone, I cried like I never cried before. Water poured out of my eyes that I didn't even know existed in my body. I struggled to express the words caught in my throat. "Mom, I love you. Mom, you need help." Obviously shaken, she came over to me, sat on my lap, kissed me on the head, and said, "Okay." She made the decision to recover. It was the hardest she had ever seen me cry. Relief flooded my body. My uncle drove my mom to a Betty Ford clinic. As I watched her walk out of the house, I instinctively knew that my parents' marriage was over. All the tension over the years had come to a head due to my father's work and financial instability and my mother's drinking. Therefore, it came as no surprise when I received a phone call from my mother saying they were divorcing. My mom remained sober throughout my years in college, and I began to focus on my own life, which meant pursuing my dreams to become a professional baseball player.